internal talks, like many teams around the league did, right, about acquiring Kevin Durant again.
It doesn't necessarily make it reality and the best path forward. Do you want the next 4 years of Kevin Durant or the next 4 years of the team that just won the championship?
I didn't think Steph Curry was capable of this type of psychological warfare, especially not on one of his former teammates, because he pretty much insulted Kevin Durant and then took back the insult and complimented him a few days later, and then once again shaded him earlier today. So before we get to the content, man, we are still running NBA 2K23 giveaways on my Twitter account. All you have to do is follow and turn my notifications on Twitter. Now that we get all of that out of the way, cue the intro. Guys, I'm gonna be honest, originally I would never wear or purchase jewelry because I thought it was the worst investment that you could ever make, and it was so freaking expensive. Luckily, I found the GLDshop.com, which is a remarkable website where you could purchase your own affordable gold and jewelry. You can wear jewelry on a day-to-day basis without feeling like an idiot that spent thousands of dollars on gold that you could have gotten at a significantly better rate from GLD Shop. GLD was founded on the idea that everyone should be able to afford high quality jewelry pieces that deliver confidence and help you complete your look. It's made with real gold that's built to last, and their manufacturing process and attention to detail is the best in the game. That's why they offer a lifetime guarantee on all purchases. If there are any issues with your jewelry, GLD has you covered. Each piece of jewelry is custom designed by their team in Miami, and they have an unmatched weight and shine to them. And right now, GLD Shop is hooking up my subscribers fat with 33% off when you go to thegldshop.com/FlightMike and enter my promo code FlightMike. Or just go to the description down below, click the link in the description down below, place your order, and enter my promo code FlightMike for 33% off. And thank you, GLD Shop, for today's sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Whether you love him or hate him, you have to admit Steph Curry is one of the most well-liked individuals in the entire NBA. It's gotten to a point where even when he kind of insults people, at least the audience doesn't necessarily take it as a direct shot or something intentional to insult an individual. I mean, the best example of this that I could think of is a few months ago on HBO's The Shop. Back in April, LeBron James said the player that he'd most want to play with in today's game was Steph Curry.
You know, who else you want to play with? In today's game, Steph Curry.
Oh, shoot.
The chef. You know what? Hey, he might want to play with you next weekend now.
That is phenomenal. When did he say that? Was that on The Shop?
Yeah.
I
guess the latest one, yeah.
No. Well, we got his wish, so he's the captain. He's picked in the last two All-Star games, so I don't know if that suffices, but I'm good right now.
So imagine if LeBron James, an individual who is arguably the greatest player of our generation, depending on who you ask, says that he wants to play with you, and the response to that is, I'm good right now. If it was anyone else, you would think that's an insult, but since it's Steph Curry, most people just assume he has a good heart and doesn't necessarily want to offend anybody. And to be honest, in Steph Curry's defense, at that moment in time, back in April of 2022, there would be no reason whatsoever for Steph Curry to ever be tempted to join the Los Angeles Lakers or to team up with LeBron James. This man's legacy is already set. He has nothing to gain from teaming up with LeBron James, and his team was already deep enough to eventually make a playoff run and win a NBA championship. So why am I bringing all of this up? Why am I rehashing old news from all the way back in April? Well, it seems like Steph Curry, I don't know what you want to say here, whether intentional or unintentional, is definitely toying with Kevin Durant's head. And for the first instance, maybe he accidentally said something that was a little insulting, and maybe he didn't mean anything by it. The second instance, he was obviously backpedaling and complimenting Kevin Durant, maybe to make up for it. And then he once again kind of took a little bit of a shot at Kevin Durant a few hours ago. So let's start out with the very first instance. 9 days ago, Steph Curry was asked by Sports Illustrated's Ashley Nicole Moss to play a game of this or that. And you know how these reporters are, man. They want to get a soundbite from you that could generate a ton of clicks, maybe get you to slip up and throw one of your Hall of Fame teammates under the bus. So Ashley Nicole Moss, props to her because she asked the craziest question from Steph Curry. She asked Curry if he would rather keep this year's NBA championship or the two he won while Kevin Durant played for Golden State in 2017 and 2018. You know, the one that NBA fans declare as championships that do not count whatsoever because Kevin Durant joined a 73-win Golden State Warrior team from the year prior that would have easily won an NBA championship while up 3-1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers if Draymond Green didn't have some obsession with kicking players in the nuts back then. Not to discredit the Cleveland Cavaliers at all whatsoever, but that would have been a significantly different series with a prime Draymond Green available. Well, when Steph Curry was asked that question, he straight up said, I would take this one championship that I won in the 2022 NBA season over the ones he won with Kevin Durant in 2017 and 2018. As a matter of fact, he said, no, I want this one. He said without hesitation, give me this one all day, every day. So you might be thinking,
oh my God, why would he say something like this? Why would he throw this type of shade towards Kevin Durant?
I mean, bear in mind, in terms of legacy, this makes Steph Curry a 3-time NBA champion as opposed to a 4-time NBA champion. So the very first theory that could come into your head is this was a very legacy defining championship for Steph Curry in the sense that he finally was able to attain an accolade that most of his haters were roasting him for years. And that's the fact that he's never won NBA Finals MVP. And finally, in the NBA Finals this past year, he got the accolade that has been eluding him for years. So is he necessarily saying that he would rather take his Finals MVP over an additional championship for the Golden State Warriors? I don't necessarily think so. I feel like this is a question that is kind of a double-edged sword to ask anyone. If you're going to be asked a question that is either going to hype up your ex-teammate or is going to hype up your current team, which are you going to choose? Obviously, there's some politics involved in this question. If Steph Curry has to choose between pleasing his current teammates or his ex-teammate, then obviously he should choose his current teammate. Otherwise, it's going to be awkward as hell once he returns to training camp. So this was a question that props to Steph Curry for even answering. I don't necessarily think that he had these intentions of really insulting Kevin Durant. And what's even more shocking to me is the fact that Kevin Durant didn't even respond to this. But wait, we still have 2 more articles to bring to your attention because later on, a few days later, Steph Curry obviously felt like maybe he ruffled some of Kevin Durant's feathers. I mean, Kevin Durant isn't necessarily an individual that you want to burn a bridge with. You won 2 championships with the guy after all. I mean, I don't want to get into whether or not the Golden State Warriors would have still won those championships without Kevin Durant, but nevertheless, you have to admit any individual that results in you winning an additional 2 championships is a man that should be appreciated, especially when he's one of the greatest scorers of our generation. So about a week later, Steph Curry conducted an interview with Rolling Stone. And in that article, they discussed the internal talks about acquiring Kevin Durant, that he would love to play again with his former teammate, who ultimately reconciled with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, it's really important to pay attention to this article because it kind of proves what I was telling you guys in the previous article about Steph Curry having to pick and choose between hyping up his current team or hyping up his old teammates. And it seems like he's trying to do a little bit of both here. So Steph Curry talks about how there was a conversation internally amongst us about if he was available, would you? Every team has those conversations. And obviously in our situation, they're going to call and ask me, how do you feel about it? And Curry said he was never hesitant in endorsing the idea of a reunion with Kevin Durant, who was his teammate for 3 seasons in which the Warriors won 2 championships and Durant won back-to-back NBA Finals MVP awards. Durant's time with the Warriors ended in 2019 when he departed for the Brooklyn Nets in a sign and trade deal, which is arguably one of the biggest mistakes he's ever made in his career, if you ask me. Curry actually discussed the idea with his brother Seth Curry, who is a teammate of Durant on the Brooklyn Nets, saying that the idea of playing with KD and knowing who he is as a person from our history in those 3 years, I think KD's a really good dude. I think he is misunderstood. I think he has had certain things happen in his life that hurt his ability to trust people around him, in a sense making him feel safe at all times. So all of those things I understand. Having played with him and gotten to know him, I love that dude. So if you're Steph Curry's teammate, if you're Andrew Wiggins or Jordan Poole or James Wiseman or one of the individuals in that package that would have potentially been sent for Kevin Durant, you may feel some type of way about reading all of this. Curry made sure to cover his tracks facts here when he said, although he entertained the idea of playing again with Durant, he had to consider what a trade for the former MVP would cost, and he has full confidence that the Warriors can repeat as champions with their current roster. And if you said, oh, KD's coming back and we're gonna play with him, I had so much fun playing with him those 3 years that I'd be like, hell yeah. Then you have to think, what does that actually mean? What does it look like? You tell me I'm playing with Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, and Draymond Green, and I'm like, hell yeah. There's all types of emotion and things that can happen to the league. And if anybody's saying that you wouldn't entertain that conversation, no disrespect to anybody on our team, but you don't know how things work. But you also understand, like, if we run this thing back, I've got complete confidence in my team that we can win it again as constructed. Honestly, I don't think the Golden State Warriors ever truly entertained the idea of trading for Kevin Durant, mainly because Kevin Durant is 34 years old at this point. They are in a beautiful situation where they're contending for championships now, and it seems like their future is also looking incredibly bright with the likes of Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, and hell, there's some players that need some development as well, like James Wiseman and Moses Moody. So you don't necessarily want to sell your youth when your youth was already good enough to get you to the promised land. So he compliments Kevin Durant there while also having his back with his teammates, which brings us to where we are today. So if you remember, Kevin Durant was also a part of some Boston Celtics rumors. We covered this a few weeks ago. And this is before the Brooklyn Nets just decided to move forward with Kevin Durant. Steph Curry once again was asked about Kevin Durant, and in this situation, he was asked whether or not he believes the Eastern Conference champions were better off trading Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. So Steph Curry thinks the Boston Celtics are better off having not traded for Kevin Durant, since they would have had to give up important talent to get him. So in a profile by Rolling Stone, they described Curry's take on the Celtics possibly trading for Kevin Durant. So he said that the Boston Celtics have a little bit of everything, but they would have to deal with the organizational transition to get rid of Jaylen Brown, and he's such a pivotal piece. If they would have done that and then Curry did one of these and agreed with Snoop Dogg that Kevin Durant was better off staying with the Brooklyn Nets. So in this one video, Steph Curry said that he would rather win his championship this year with the Golden State Warriors over the 2 that he won with Kevin Durant. Then he said that he would love to team up with Kevin Durant, but he has faith in his team winning a championship if they ran it back. And then once again said the Boston Celtics are better off not trading for Kevin Durant because giving up Jaylen Brown is too valuable of a piece. You see what I mean when I say Steph Curry has a nice heart and doesn't mean to be offensive or insulting, but if you're someone as sensitive as Kevin Durant, if this was anyone else but Steph Curry, I bet you Kevin Durant would get his Twitter fingers out and immediately start going crazy on Twitter. I mean, imagine if Draymond Green said these words. I want you to imagine that for a sec. He didn't, but imagine if he did. Him and Kevin Durant would be going back and forth on Twitter like crazy. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about Steph Curry's comments? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.